Today's film is an action-adventure from 2024 titled Homestead. The film opens with two indigenous brothers packing a nuclear bomb on their sailboat that's 15 miles away from the Queen's Gate. While the little one is afraid and panicky, the older one reminds him they owe it to their family and must do what they've come for. The American Air Force hovers over them and tries to capture them, but the younger brother activates the bomb under the sailboat.
I repeat, come about immediately.
Scenes shift to the suburbs of Los Angeles, where Evie and her kids are spending a regular day at home. Her husband, Malcolm, experiences the thudding sounds and the ground quaking at his work. The city undergoes a blackout. Evie and the kids also experience this and have no clue what is going on. Malcolm calls her in a rush and tells her to head straight to her sister and her husband's homestead. Before the signals are killed, Malcolm forbids Evie to breathe the air since it has become toxic. She wraps the kids in blankets and makes it to her car. She notices that they've left behind their pet dog, so she covers her mouth and returns to grab him. They drive away but get stuck in the traffic as everyone's trying to escape. Scenes spin to the homestead, somewhere far away from the city. There, we see Jenna Ross and her daughter, Claire Ross, who seem to have no worries in the world as the narrator shares how their cellars are stocked with food that won't last for ages and have a solid shelter. Claire is seen fitting into her mother's old dress and having fun. Evie calls Jenna with a panicky voice. Her cellular signals are also weak, due to which Jenna doesn't understand what's happening in LA, although she figures Evie is coming with the family and has a guest bedroom prepared for them immediately. Ian sees the news on TV and finds out about the nuclear attack on Los Angeles, which has yet to be confirmed by the government. Back in LA, a soldier named Jeff joins his family during breakfast. Her youngest son makes him runny eggs for breakfast, whereas the older one is not on good terms with him. His wife, Tara, takes all three kids to drop off at school when Jeff finds out about the bomb. Tara doesn't attend his calls, so he chases her in his car, during which he calls his buddy and invites him over to the Ross's homestead since he needed security men for his place. He finds Tara and the kids and brings them back home to pack up his gear and arsenal. On their way, they stop by a grocery store for Tara to get something. Jeff notes people fighting for groceries and the unprecedented chaos around the store. The power goes out there too. One of Jeff's team members nearly shoots a man for punching a lady over tissue papers, but Jeff prevents him from taking such measures in public. Tara returns soon, and they leave with Jeff's team following him in two army vehicles. Tara contacts her sources from LA who conspire that the Russians have attacked them since there's a cyber attack, a power outage, and weird fluctuations in the stock market. They soon reach the homestead. Where Ian and his family welcome them. Jenna worries as she's unable to connect with Evie, so Tara offers to help her communicate with her through satellite phone. Whereas Ian praises Jeff's men and asks his assistant, Christian, to show Jeff and his people the entire place for orientation. While Tara shows Jenna how the satellite phone works, her son, Abe, finds Claire Ross gardening and gets to know her. Ian takes the soldiers to an elevated area to set up perimeter posts. Meanwhile, Evie is still struggling on the road. She stops by a gas station to refill the gas tank, but people have already taken over the place and are fighting over fuel.
Just for a second. Hold on.
She panics at first, but then manages to move her kids to someone else's car with enough fuel and hits the road. Abe accompanies Claire in the gardens and vents about how his father is being preposterous about the situation, but Claire makes him realize the situation is actually serious. To distract themselves, they decide to go hunting nearby the homestead. At night, Jeff keeps himself updated through the news on the radio about the American economy crashing down. Another character, Rick, is introduced alongside his family at their dinner table. Due to the power outage, the water supply has also been cut. When his daughter feels the need to urinate, he brings her out in the bushes to pee. There, he hears his neighbors getting robbed of food. There are gunshots heard. Rick knows they'll come for his house next, so Rick evacuates his family from his house and sets out to Ross's homestead. On his way, his associates stop him, but he doesn't engage with them and keeps driving. The next morning, there are people lining up outside the homestead, begging to be sheltered. But Christian and the soldiers are only letting in Ian's approved people. An enforcement officer named Blake finds Ian in his cellar and begins inspecting his firearms. He demands to see permits for the weaponry he's holding and the gathered residents because having over 30 people on his property requires permission. As they have their argument, Jeff overhears them and warns Ian not to underestimate him, as he will be back with a SWAT team after seeing their comfort zone compared to the people that are dying of food shortages. The following evening, Jeff and his people spot the barn behind the homestead that's caught on fire.
Evan, you seeing this?
Yeah, I see the smoke from here. What do you think happened?
Someone got hit. Burning barn. Back of the homestead.
Copy that. You're receiving.
They don't take this lightly and ask Ian to recruit more men, as the enemy has already started sending signals. Besides, they will not last for 2 minutes, opposed to Blake's SWAT team. The next day, Ian and his soldiers do simulation exercises in the woods.
Dead! Yeah, you're up.
While Jenna brings food to the people behind the gates along with Tara and Claire. Near the gates, Jeff updates Ian on the trespassers on his hills, but he takes them lightly and thinks they're only hunters. Rick spots him and begs to be let in, who's been camping outside the gates for days now. Ian apologizes and refuses to let him in despite being friends. His only excuse is that he's only letting those crash his homestead that have helped him build it. Jenny and the girls get attacked as the crowd grows aggressive over snatching food from them. Jeff and the boys pull them back inside immediately. Tara has some argument with Jeff, amidst which Abe asks Jeff to contribute by doing guard duty. Tara is against it, but Jeff allows him as he desperately needs more men. Though he promises to appoint Abe in the back of the homestead, which is the quietest and non-problematic area. Meanwhile, Jenna fights Ian regarding giving away food to the people camping outside the homestead, but he's too busy calculating how long their stocked goods can last for them. The next morning, Tara is seen complaining about their youngest daughter refusing to call them mom and dad. Jeff reminds her they adopted her from a very hostile foster care, due to which it's understandable if she's taking time. Tara is also not happy about Abe's early morning shift and demands to substitute for him. In the meantime, Abe and the soldier appointed by his side spot 2 hunters pointing their rifles at them. They try to warn the men through the megaphone, but it runs out of battery. Abe contacts Jeff through comms and keeps him updated on the situation. He guides Abe to shoot in the air to scare them away, but when this doesn't work out, he orders Abe to shoot the hunters.
Hey, shoot!
Don't come any closer.
Hey, shoot!
Everyone hears the gunshot and becomes concerned. Abe shoots one hunter and allows the second one to run away from there. They bring the hunter to their infirmary, where he speaks of his wife and dies. Abe cries out loud and spills that he did it. The nurse, Elena, gets angry and accuses the boys of committing murder. Ian tries to dissolve the issue by promising to set up new rules, but Jeff isn't willing to take orders from him. Abe becomes depressed, while Ian grows agitated to find a hole in one of his wheat containers, which suggests it was stolen. When the soldiers unite in the woods, Jeff starts having doubts about their operating methods and thinks they're being above others. His friend justifies this just because they have training and weapons. Jeff decides to come up with a proper chain of command and set up a proper structure to run the homestead. Subsequently, Ian calculates that they will run out of vegetables and wheat by summer. Jenna suggests growing them in their garden, but Ian reminds it's not their growing season. Besides that, the weather will be cold soon, due to which they're fully doomed if America doesn't heal from the radiation soon. Out in the garden, Tara and Jeff try to counsel Abe, who now blames himself for killing the hunter. His little brother hears his confessions and thinks Abe is a bad man, but Tara changes the perspective and comforts the younger son. Jenna also confronts Ian that she doesn't feel she belongs in her own home and cannot stand Jeff's people shooting hunters while guarding their supplies. Ian begs her to stay strong for the sake of their kids. Outside, Evie finally arrives. The gates are opened for her, while Rick and the other campers watch her with resentment. At night, Abe seeks comfort from Claire, who not only validates him but also takes him to their greenhouse nursery to distract him. They plant some seeds, which helps Abe heal mentally. He thanks her and leaves. Next, Jeff hears the news on the radio about the wars between militaries from different states. He and Tara also help heal Abe, who refuses to get up from his bed. Jenna also demonstrates her wheat grinding process to Ian and proposes that they have enough bread to feed themselves and the homeless people outside. Ian doesn't agree and also forbids Claire to see Abe. Outside, he enjoys eating berries from his garden. He watches Malcolm finally pull up and greet his kids along with Evie, who's mad at him for not contacting them and taking so long to get here. Jenna also welcomes Malcolm and shows him around. She has finally been permitted by Ian to set up tents for the homeless out in the open. While Ian and Jeff find out from a new arrival that FEMA is helping bring back power using diesel generators and providing free food, he enlightens them that they're headed here next. Jenna also enjoys that day sharing food with the outsiders. Ian inquires where Malcolm has been, which agitates him. Evie privately tells Ian that Malcolm is out of his medication, so he must not attack him like that. Soon, Blake returns with his SWAT team. He seizes the homestead and asks Ian to evacuate the place. As they're refuting, a crossfire ensues among the soldiers and the SWAT team. Ian gets shot amidst the crossfire. He's brought to the infirmary and is treated. He survives, but falls into a coma. Jenna opens the doors for all the homeless and prays by Ian's side. She takes charge of the homestead and grows food in her garden with the help of everyone else, who pitch in new and innovative ideas to grow fruits and vegetables off-season. Working and contributing, Abe also heals from his traumas and truly becomes happy. Ian finally wakes up after a month. Jenna credits God for helping them in exchange for helping the needy. Here, the film ends. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps.